We're going to be making some salsa verde today for protocol 002. For that we will need a quarter of an onion, we'll need 2 cloves of garlic, we'll need 1 serrano pepper. You can substitute for a jalapeno if you like it less spicy. On average, you'll probably need around 6 tomatillos. The ones that I could find today, as you can see, are really small, so I'm using around 8. We'll need the juice of half a lime. We'll need probably a quarter of a bunch of cilantro. And then we have our secret ingredient here today, which is marrow bones. I'll show you how to use them momentarily. To make the salsa, we'll have to roast all of our ingredients on the broiler for probably around 5 or 6 minutes. Once they start to blister and they get a little blackened, we'll move them over to the blender. We'll blend everything together, and then we'll add the chopped cilantro in, as well as the lime juice and the roasted marrow bones to increase that creaminess and complexity of the sauce. So into the oven they go, and we'll roast them for around 6 minutes. All of our vegetables and the bone marrow most likely will take around 12 to 15 minutes to roast. I'll show you how that looks like. So while the rest of our ingredients are roasting, I like to do a little prep here with the cilantro. And I don't like it to be very stringy when we're putting it in the blender, so I'm just going to chop it in big pieces. And you can add the stems and everything. It doesn't need to be thrown out. You just need to be smooth when you're throwing in the blender. So what I'll do is I'll probably just go past it a couple of times with my knife, and from there we should be good to add it to our blender. About halfway through, we need to turn them around so they don't over roast on one side only. So we'll give them a little flip. Now the next thing, now that everything is roasted, we'll just take them out. In they go with everything that is roasted in this tray. Roasted garlic, our onions, our jalapeno, the rest of our tomatillos, the rest of our onion here. I don't want to miss that. It's a great flavor. And what we're going to do with the bone marrow is we're going to scoop it out, reserve it, and add it little by little as we're blending our salsa. Be very careful with these ones, they're going to be quite hot. Look at that. We are going to reserve all of that. That is liquid gold. And we can be very careful as well as to not to lose any of that fat that we accumulated there in a roasting tray, because that is also full of flavor and we can use it in our salsa. So what we're going to do is we're going to take all of those drippings and we're going to reserve them as well. We will be adding our cilantro to our salsa. We have previously chopped. Excellent. And we will be adding the squeeze of half a lime. So give it that acidity and brightness to the salsa. I'm not adding the bone marrow yet until we have actually blended everything so we can taste and see how much of it we should add. At this point is where we season to our liking. We'll start with a couple of pinches of salt, and then we'll go from there. Now we have all our ingredients in, lid on, and we'll start by pulsing our salsa to allow everything to blend in together smoothly before adding a little bit of water. At this point I'm going to be adding a quarter cup of water. Just let everything flow. I'll pulse again a few times. And then we'll continue blending until it's smooth and to our our liking. Now that we have it ready and completely blended, we'll just give it a little taste to see where with our flavors. That is delicious. For the bone marrow, I will be adding the solids as well as the liquid, which will give it a great creaminess and depth of flavor. Once those have been added, we can continue to blend until it's smooth and to our liking and texture. Here we go with the blending again. Our salsa is ready. Now we'll give it a try. And we'll transfer it to our storage jar, which will let us use it for at least 5 days from the fridge. Or if you decide to keep it for longer, you can put this in ice cube trays and it will hold for at least a month. Perfect texture, creamy, acid, fatty, salty, delicious. Now, this is called Protocol 1 and Protocol 2 tie-in together.